So, Karol,
Yes.
what else do you remember about your relationships with your brothers and sisters when you were a young girl?
I remember my brothers fighting a lot. I remember my older brothers picking on Steven. I know.
Poor Stevie.
I remember always having to watch Planet of the Apes on Sundays, and I hate it.
For church.
Yes. I do remember on Sunday nights, Mom used to make red popcorn, and we used to watch the Disney show at 7 o'clock.
That's awesome. It's a fun tradition.
Yeah, and I remember when we lived in California, I think it was Tim that came home from his mission, or maybe Rick.
You were in California just for a short
Yeah,
time.
5 months, and one of them used to walk us to school every day
In California.
in California.
How old were you? You were in kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Just
Yeah.
little. Pretty good memory.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything else about your memory of your relationships with your siblings?
Who was your favorite?
Oh no, we're not doing favorites.
Her twin,
Aubrey.
of course.
Aubrey.
Her twin.
We're not. Yeah, my twin.
You have to. Okay, do you remember anything interesting about where you lived? So you pretty much lived...
Oh wait, how about Bob? I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go over to Bob's house every weekend and babysit the kids every single weekend. And Judy used to feed us waffles every morning and buy whatever food we wanted. It was
And
awesome.
that kept you coming back.
And
That
we
and the
came
cute
back
kids.
and babysitting.
Okay, what do you remember that was interesting about where you lived? So you pretty much lived in Seattle your whole life except for this stint in California, right?
I remember we used to just play outside all the time, everywhere. I picked huckleberries. I made huckleberry pie. I picked raspberries, made raspberry pie and cobbler. I remember.
Do you guys have a garden?
Yes, Grandpa had a great garden.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Grandma used to make us eat all the parsnips out of it. It was gross.
Yummy.
Yeah. And I remember Karen and I used to take our Barbie vans all over the neighborhood. No, the neighborhood.
Oh.
And we had camping everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we rolled our motorhomes everywhere.
I love it.
Yes.
What, were they pink?
Yes, they were pink, of course.
They were Barbie.
Yep.
That's awesome. It was really woodsy around the house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So were there neighbors close by?
Nope. We had a big forest. I remember playing Capture the Flag with my brothers. I remember playing Kick the Can.
Did you have special next door neighbors?
Yeah, special.
Who are they?
Uncle Kay and Aunt Norma.
Her cousins live next door to her, huh? They had 10 kids in their family.
Yes.
So were there kids close to your age?
A few of them, but we didn't really hang out.
Okay.
But
Well,
my
we'll
brothers used to tease the other ones
Yeah, we'll
a
just
lot.
move on
Yeah.
to the. I bet we'll get those stories in some of the other. Okay, how would you describe your siblings individually? So if you want to go top to bottom or bottom to top, doesn't matter. So maybe what comes to mind that's video appropriate about each of your siblings.
Well, all of them. How am I going to do all of them? I know would come to my rescue. So, let's see, Rick. I would say he's pretty smart, and but he has a big heart. Bob is very sarcastic, but he would come to any of our rescues. Let's see. Tim and I are closer than most because I work with him. I'm kind of like Aubrey too. And it was fun working with him. I mean, there were good times and bad times, but I think that will always make us close. And let's see, Tom. Tom always stays at my house. He says I'm his favorite, so just in case anybody wants to know that.
He says otherwise.
Yeah.
It's on the record
Yeah,
now.
he does say that. And Steven I used to be a lot closer to, but he moved away, and that was sad. I didn't like that. Let's see, Sharon. She's super creative, way more creative than me. You could put Karen in there too. Both of them are. But they, no matter where you are in your relationship, they'll come to you and help you. And now you can't tape me. No taping.
Tissues.
This isn't supposed to be emotional.
Yes, it
You're
is.
talking
That's
about
what
your
this is.
family. Karen was crying just a second ago.
That's
Probably
why
what
you didn't
she
want the
said.
panel.
Carol.
Thanks, Aubrey. Thanks for the tissues. Yeah.
Doing a lot of crying.
Definitely closer to my sisters than all of them. And probably because they're closer to my age. And Karen, well, she's my twin, so
You're supposed to.
I'm probably the closest to her.
You want to say anything else about your siblings before we move on to
No,
grandparents?
I want to
You're
move
good
on.
with that? Okay, we're ready to move on.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so when you were little, what do you remember about your grandparents? So which grandparents were alive when you were little?
Grandma Jerry.
And so she's
And-
technically your step grandma,
my
but it was
step-grandma.
never felt that way, right?
No, she was the only grandma I knew on that side. And she loved our family to death. And I remember her parties.
McDonald's bucks.
Yeah. And I remember her stockings though,
Yeah, the
with all the
stockings.
candy in them, and her red floor, and how excited she got, and yeah. So she was fun.
Mandates to patch.
I remember actually going camping with her, and my brother's playing a song, and I can't remember what song it was, but I do hear it and remember it, and her flipping out on all of them saying, it just goes over and over and over and over, it doesn't stop. So that was fun. That's my camping with her.
That's awesome.
And Grandpa Bromley was very conservative, but very classy and kind of kept Bromley in line. And Grandma Bromley just did what she wanted and spoiled us.
Just like grandma.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel close to your grandparents?
Yes. Yes.
And they lived near you. Which
Yes,
was-
but they lived in California too, and I
That's
remember
true.
going there, and Grandpa would dry apricots for us, and it was fun.
Okay, let's move on to elementary school and junior high. So who were your friends during that age? period?
Karen. That's easy. Done. No. In elementary.
Elementary and junior high. So just before high school, everything kind of before high school, school years.
We had friends in the neighborhood. I don't really actually remember, honestly. I don't
Did you play
remember.
sports or do other activities? So this
I
is
did
elementary and
gymnastics.
junior high. Okay, gymnastics. You were big into that. What are your favorite memories of elementary, junior high, kind of those school years?
I remember field day, and I remember that I was probably the fastest one in the school.
That's awesome.
And Grandpa would brag about it and tell me I needed to do track the rest of my life, and I didn't want to. And I remember one field day I had warts all on the bottom of my feet, and I had to get them burnt off, but I still ran and still
Oh
won.
my gosh, that's awesome. I love
I
it.
remember that.
What elementary did you go to?
Echo Lake.
Echo
across the
Lake,
street.
and it was close. And then what about the junior high?
Cordell Hall.
Cordell Hall. Okay.
That's where I started gymnastics.
Okay. Cool. How do you feel like the early years, those years, affected who you would become in the future?
I just think it was a lot about family. So, and that's important to me.
What do you remember about the homes you lived in?
I remember, well, California was brief. I just remember the staircase, that's it.
Was
And
it
then we
cool
got to
or
go
no?
swimming on Sundays as a family. As long as
Why
it
was
as
that
a
a
family.
big deal?
Because Grandpa said we could only go as a family.
Because otherwise swimming was not an option on
No.
the Sabbath.
And then the house, the big house that we lived in, when everybody finally moved out, Karen and I got our own rooms, and although we would just take turns sleeping in each other's rooms at night. So our stuff was in other rooms.
So you had your own closet space.
Yes.
Okay, what do you remember about home life during this time? So just up to high school, but not yet high school.
Up to high school?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just would wait for all the family activities, and I'd wait by the door to get the first baby coming in the door. That's what I remember.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah, no.
Same thing.
It's all the same.
Okay, so let's move on to high school. Where did you go to school?
I went to Shoreline for 2 years and Shorewood for 2 years.
Okay. Was that a new school that was built, or they just changed boundaries, or what was
We just changed schools.
Okay, perfect. Were you involved in sports in high school or other after-school activities?
Gymnastics.
You went on with gymnastics. What made you stand out at school?
I was a twin. Everybody remembers us as a twin.
Yeah.
I don't think I really stood out any other way.
How would other students have described you?
The twins.
The twins.
Yeah.
Sexy.
I don't think that. I don't think that was on my list.
That came later.
Yeah, that was when I got much older.
He gave her the
Second
most
grade.
sly wink ever, too.
That's second grade.
Yeah, second grade.
Okay, who were your best friends?
Karen, of course, and then I had Jody Brown. She did gymnastics with me.
What stands out during that high school time about seminary or young women's?
Seminary? I didn't really like seminary.
Not a fan.
I didn't like getting up.
Or you had early morning
Yeah.
seminary.
So I'm being honest, I really didn't like seminary at all.
Not a fan.
No.
Not good memories about seminary.
No.
How about young women's?
Young women's was okay. We were always in the board that only had a few young women, so
You have good leaders.
we had good leaders, yes. But when they split the ward, it wasn't that great.
That was hard.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your bishops that you had during that time?
I remember Bishop Wright, who was pretty amazing, and Bishop Willis.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see his kids a lot, and it reminds me of him. And let's see, and then Dad was the bishop.
What stands out about boyfriends that seems important today?
Nothing.
Okay, sweet. We're gonna move on. College and mission years. So this is like ages 18 to 25. So kind of those early 20s. From the time you graduated up to mid 20s. So where did you go? Like, what did you do after post high school? What were
Karen
you?
and I graduated and went straight to BYU. Summer,
BYU Provo.
yes.
Not Rick's, because it would have been Rick's,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Straight to, like, we had 2 weeks in between.
Okay.
And
You went together.
Yes.
You roomed together.
Yes.
Okay.
And we stayed there. We went 3 semesters. I didn't really love BYU.
Okay.
I mean, I think I like school, but not BYU.
So the environment you didn't.
It's
You
too
just
big.
didn't feel like. Okay. Okay. So you said.
And then I came home and got married.
Awesome.
Karen went on her mission,
Left us for a while.
and that was pretty hard because I had Alex then.
1988.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about who were your friends during that time. How do you feel like you helped people during that time in your life to change their lives for the better? This could be a spouse, children, just next door neighbors, people who lived around you, people you interacted with. What do you feel like you gave during that time that helped to improve somebody else's life for the better?
I was very focused on family at that time. So it's really all my, older brothers and their kids. I don't know if I made them better, but
Family gatherings.
yeah.
If I could just, throw something out there, I would say that you did a good job of just extending unconditional love. You made people feel wanted and feel
Yeah, the more the merrier.
you wanted us to be there.
Yes.
So,
Hey, wait, well, let's go back to junior high.
Okay.
I remember when you guys were born. All of you
I was
guys.
16. You were 16.
you were 16.
Yep.
Yeah, and I loved it. And I remember, I think I took either Brooklyn or
Took me to
Tiffany
school.
to school.
Yep.
And they were brand new.
Okay.
And Sharon let me take them
Yep.
by myself.
You were 16 years old.
And I took them to school and was
All
it
your
junior high?
friends.
Yeah. And I took them and showed them around. And I tried to get on any birth I could. Any of them. Anyone.
Which kids did you see?
She was there for
I
me.
was there for Brooklyn. I was there for Tiffany. I was there for Maddie. I was there for Amanda.
I think that's when my mom started getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing now.
Tyson,
Seeing what's
Jacob,
happening down there.
There's no privacy
probably
at
all
that
them.
point
Zach,
anymore.
Natalie.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I was there with Billy and a bunch. I don't remember.
I remember we used to go out for dinner after a baby was born.
Yeah.
Family.
All of us go out and eat.
I remember after Ellie. I don't know why I remember
Yeah.
that.
I can't remember if I was in on anybody else's. I don't remember. Anyone I could
All
get
the
in on
important
would.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all important to Carol.
Well, Aubrey's important and I didn't see her.
I don't think you would have wanted to. That's all
We
natural.
overlapped.
He has 9
We
pounds.
overlapped in the hospital, just barely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were in the same room for just a little bit. Okay, back to Karol. How do you think your college experience and just that time in your life, dating during that time, affected the rest of your life? Like, how did it change you?
How did it change me?
How did it shape you, mold you, the experiences you had during that time?
I don't know.
Or how you grew during that time? Even early
I was just
marriage
focused on getting married and having kids. That's what the most important thing was.
was your focus.
Yeah.
Okay, where did you live and what was that like? So we're talking up to 25 at this point.
I got married and I lived in Everett for a little while, and then I lived in Orem for a little while, and then we finally got to move home to Seattle, which I was glad because that's when I started having kids. So.
Can you remember getting your patriarchal blessing?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I think I was 17.
Okay. So what do you remember about it? I mean, you don't have to share like specifics, but what do you remember about the experience?
I went with Karen.
So you got him at the same time?
Yeah. And Garth Walker gave it to us, but she was pretty special. I actually don't remember any details about it. I remember going, but I don't remember details.
Okay. What do you remember about going to the temple the first time? The first few times?
Let's see, it was a little overwhelming, but I was pretty chill back then, so I just kind of went with it. It was fine. It was fun.
Okay, we're gonna move to section 5, early career and family. So this is like 25 to 40. Okay. So how did you meet your spouse? You're just gonna have to go with that one and answer it how you want.
My first spouse?
Sure.
I met him in high school.
Okay.
Let's stop that.
Okay.
Stop.